All right, welcome everyone. Today we're diving deep into something really fundamental. Two completely different ways of knowing. We're talking about two paths to wisdom, and believe me, the choice between them, well, it can change absolutely everything.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The source material we're looking at lays out this really powerful contrast from the get-go. The basic idea? All knowledge, all wisdom comes from one of two places, and which one you choose? Well, that basically defines your entire reality.
And this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got wisdom from below. Think earthly, unspiritual, driven by stuff like selfish ambition and jealousy. And where does that lead? Pretty much straight to disorder and chaos. But then, on the other hand, there's wisdom from above. This is described as a gift from God. It's pure, peace-loving, humble, sincere. The takeaway here is super clear. What you believe totally determines how you act. You can tell where someone's wisdom is rooted just by looking at the fruit in their life.
You know, this brings us to a problem that feels, well, very modern, right? So many of us are on this constant search for truth. We're binge-watching videos, listening to podcasts, scrolling through articles, but that real, deep sense of actually knowing the truth, it can feel like it's always just out of reach.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Always learning, but never able to come to a knowledge of the truth. It's like we're drowning in information, but starving for real understanding. It's like having 1,000 puzzle pieces scattered on the table, but you've got no box top, no picture to show you what you're even building.
So, why does this happen? What's the deal? Well, the source material argues the problem isn't a lack of info, it's an issue of the heart. We're talking about a closed heart, one that's just resistant to being changed. Or maybe it's the pride of knowledge, chasing information just for status, because knowledge puffs up. And then there's the big one, selective hearing. We just tune in to teachers who tell us exactly what our itching ears want to hear. And to really drive this point home, the source gives us this incredible metaphor. It says this whole endless search is like trying to carve out your own cisterns, these big containers for water, but they're broken. They're full of cracks. So you can spend your whole life pouring knowledge into them, but you'll never be satisfied. They'll never hold water.
Okay, so this is where everything shifts. This is the big pivot in our explainer. The source material is about to propose a totally different way of thinking about truth itself. It suggests that maybe truth isn't some thing we're supposed to chase down. Maybe it's a person we're meant to encounter.
So just think about that for a second. What if truth wasn't an idea to be mastered? What if it wasn't some philosophical concept you could figure out, or a set of rules you could memorize?
But instead, it was a person to be known. And yeah, the core claim here, the absolute center of this whole idea, is that this person is Jesus Christ.
To understand this, we've got to look at this K concept, the logos. It's a Greek word that means word, or reason, or divine principle. In this context, it's referring to Jesus as the divine logic of the entire universe. So you see, he isn't just a teacher of the truth. The claim is that he is the truth. He's the rational, moral, and spiritual logic holding everything together, revealed in human form. And that's why this quote is so staggering. When Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life," it's not a small claim. He's taking truth out of the realm of abstract ideas and philosophies and making it something, or rather, someone deeply personal and relational.
Okay, so if truth is a person, that raises a pretty big question, right? How do you get to know him? This next part is all about how you move from just knowing about someone to truly knowing them.
And the invitation is really specific. It's not to study a subject, but to enter a relationship. Notice the phrasing here, learn of me. He doesn't say learn from me, like a student learning from a teacher. He says learn of me. It's a subtle difference, but it's huge. It means he is the subject. The curriculum is him.
So what does this path of relational knowing actually look like? Well, it's totally different from cramming for a test. Step 1 is humility. You have to start with a posture of a child, just open and teachable. Step 2 is partnership. When he says, "take my yoke," he's talking about an ancient farming tool that paired two animals together. It means you're walking side by side, sharing the journey. You're not doing it alone. And that leads to step 3, encounter. This is where it goes beyond facts into real, deep, personal, experiential knowing. And the final step, the outcome of all this, it's rest. Not the striving and stress of the world, but this profound rest for your souls.
And one of the biggest outcomes of this kind of knowing is this incredible sense of security. The source material calls it a double-layered security. It's this picture of being held securely in the hands of both Jesus and the Father. The idea is that once you're there, absolutely nothing can snatch you away.
All right, so this isn't just about some warm, fuzzy feeling, right? This relational knowledge is supposed to have a real, tangible, structural impact on your life. It all comes down to a simple question. What are you building your life on?
And this brings us to that famous parable of the two builders. It's a great story. You have two guys. They both hear the exact same words, the same teaching. The first guy, the foolish builder, hears it and does nothing. He builds his house on sand. And when the storm hits, total collapse. But the wise builder, he hears the words and he actually puts them into practice. He builds on the rock. And when the same storm hits, his house stands firm. See the difference? It's not about what you hear. It's about what you do with what you hear. That's what makes the foundation solid.
So Jesus is presented as that rock, specifically as the cornerstone. Now, in ancient building, the cornerstone was everything. It was the very first stone you laid. It had to be perfect, tested, strong, because the entire structure was aligned to that one stone. So the idea here is that Jesus is that one single reference point that gives your whole life its proper shape, its alignment, its strength. And the promise is that if you rely on that foundation, you will never be stricken with panic.
And check this out. This sure foundation comes with 4 really concrete benefits. First, size. It determines the capacity, the potential for growth that God can entrust to you. Second, shape. It aligns your entire life with His design and purpose. Third, strength. This is what gives you the stability to get through life's trials and pressures. And finally, safety. It offers a true, unshakable security and peace. So as we start to bring this all together, we see the final takeaway. The whole point of this wisdom from above isn't just about getting more information. It's about transformation. It's about becoming someone new.
And this slide just puts it all in perspective. It's the ultimate shift, right? Information versus transformation. The wisdom from below, that just gives you information. It's knowledge that puffs you up, makes you feel smart, but you can collect it your whole life and never really change on the inside. But the wisdom from above, that leads to transformation. It's a truth that isn't mastered by you. It's a truth that masters you. It changes you from the inside out into a new creation.
And that really leaves us with one last big question. A question to really think about for yourself. All the knowledge you have, is it just information? Is it just a collection of facts in your head? Or has it actually led to transformation in your life?
Because here's the bottom line. When you finally encounter truth as a person, you don't just have the truth, like it's another piece of information you own. No, something else happens. The truth has you.